All right, it is Figgie and the Moose on this 4th of July special. We've got our fisherman's hats on. I don't know. You got to protect yourself against the Rays. Do you know?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Wait, the Tampa Bay Rays or?
No, well, yeah, of course. Thank you. It's still in the rules. I mean, Figgie, I thought this was like friendly. I didn't think it would be friendly fire on this 4th of July. I love this holiday. I mean, I do. There's a lot to get into, and you got Mets and Yankees coming up this afternoon. And I think it's special when you look at it. We'll get into the holiday and our favorite things about the 4th of July. But anytime you have Mets and Yankees in this city, I don't understand why, Figgie, that they're doing it today on a national holiday when the Yankees could be playing the Oakland Athletics. The Mets could go out there and be playing, pick the Miami Marlins, right? And they had home dates, both of them, which would be a rarity. But you get the point that they'd pack the ballpark, right? Because it's a 4th of July. Why take Mets and Yankees and do it over a holiday weekend? That, to me, doesn't really make much sense from a scheduling perspective.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's low-hanging fruit, right? Why would you do something that already is going to be a sellout just based on the date itself? Give maybe a team that struggles with attendance, a team that could use the big draw of one of those major teams instead of putting them the Subway Series game, because that's going to sell out regardless in New York. We know that at any time of the year. So it was very curious decision of when they did it and why. Again, we never know how they decide on these things, but nonetheless, it is a Subway Series, and there's a different feel right now for both teams. Right, they're possibly punching each other in the mouth here and keeping each other from first place, which is a interesting part of the battle. More than just bragging rights on the line this time around.
Well, right. And I think in this city, and listen, baseball's got issues. There's no doubt in terms of being too regionalized. And that's what hurts it in terms of the national product and the national games that you see, whether it be on ESPN, Apple TV, stuff like that, is that in Major League Baseball, for the most part, majority of fans, outside of being involved in fantasy football or fantasy baseball or whatever, but most fans care about what's just going on in their block, except for this series. This series, and anytime that, you're still able to pack the ballpark and there's still interest and there's still kind of, families going against families, friends going against friends, and the rivalry that you see between the Mets and the Yankees, it's special. And it's different in this city than it is in any other city. It's not one and the same when you think about Dodgers, Angels, not one and the same when you think about White Sox, as bad as they are and as good as the Chicago Cubs have been in this season. You got two good baseball teams, not playing their best baseball of the season so far heading into this weekend, but that's what makes it fun, right? So whether you're, at the pool, the beach, you bring your radio with you, if people still have, their
transistor radio,
right? Or you're listening on your phone, whatever it might be, Figgy. You have it in the background. You're doing some yard work. You're having a barbecue, whatever it might be. You're going to be locked into Mets Yankees, and there's nothing better to me than having a baseball game on during the course of the summer, where maybe you're not sitting there locked in and day out, but it kind of provides, the music to a summer day when you listen to a baseball game.
No doubt. Well put. And I think that's the fun part, right? You can have the kids and they're jumping in and out of the pool, but, all of a sudden they hear, either Gary Cohen or Michael Kay or whoever is broadcasting it, Dave Sims, you hear their voices, Howie Rose, you hear their voices, getting excited about a deep drive. Who is it? Who is it? What happened? What happened? So it stops everything in the pool party. And if it's a celebratory cannonball, so be it. The kids are going to be into it, as an adult. You give yourself a little fist pump. Now I can go get that other hot dog and do it with a smile. So a hot dog and a beverage to celebrate, and that's what the 4th of July is supposed to be about.
All right, let me ask you, Figgy, who do you think this weekend means more to, given the state of both teams, the Mets or the Yankees?
Again, the Mets and Phillies have been kind of toe-to-toe all season long with the, up and down. You look at, a 5-game lead has been the biggest between the two. So it hasn't been really just a runaway. For the Yankees, it's been a runaway from the beginning. And it was not supposed to be this close, and especially the way that it feels on a game in, game out basis right now. And I think it's bigger for the Yankees because the Yankees standard and what they were supposed to accomplish, it was supposed to look a lot better than this at this point. And not saying that their record, again, the 10 games over 500, but it's supposed to feel a lot better on a day in and day out basis because you keep looking at the deficiencies of this team and what is holding them back. And there doesn't seem to be a quick answer to how to fix it, right? This is stuff that you talk about. Spring training is where you kind of go over all this stuff of the proper defense, proper reads, all those things on the base pass. They work at it. I was there. I saw it. But that's where they left it. Like I don't think they continue to do it at the same level, the same attention to detail, right? And now that you haven't paid attention to detail, now you look back and it's no longer looking back anymore. You're looking to the side of you because there's a team that's tied for first place with you and maybe passing you here in the short future.
Yeah, you're going to get Stroman, Rodon, and Fried. Blackburn starting for Montas and then undecided for the New York Mets on Sunday. So favorable pitching matchups when you look at the New York Yankees, but we have seen with the Yankees as of late, doesn't really matter. They could have a quality start and their bullpen gives it up or they decide not to. Yeah. I think it's, I think for the Mets, I think it's a little bit more of an important series for the Yankees than it is for the Mets, given the state of the way that they're playing right now. I think when you look at the National League East, I think it's a 2-horse race. When you look at the Phillies or the Mets are the Phillies. I think the MLB trade deadline is going to play a key factor in terms of who ends up winning that division, getting healthier as well. The Mets need to get Sean Manaea back, need to get Kodai Senga back, need to give some of those arms in that back end of that bullpen a little bit of rest as well. I did like the fact of the lineup change and moving Lindor back in the lineup and taking him out of that leadoff spot, Figgy, because I think it took a little bit of pressure off and it bared results right away.
Yeah, and those are the little things that, hey, you know what? We've tried everything and to keep everything status quo from what was working up until the 12th of June. And at some point you have to say, hey, let's try something a little different. We used to see managers and changing the lineup strategically to match up with the pitching matchup and things of that nature. We used to see that a lot. Where we haven't seen that really from Mendoza. Once they found something that worked last year, they really kept to it. Nimmo has moved around a little bit based on lefty-righty matchup kind of thing. But for the most part, you were going to have Lindor at the top. And then after that, Pete was going to be in that 4-hole. And now you started moving some pieces around. If Marc Vientos was hitting a lot better, then you would see him in different situations in different places in the lineup. So the flexibility to do that is great. But at the same time, I think when he went to Lindor and said, listen, I'm going to take you out of the leadoff spot, it's, Lindor it's not a demotion for a guy like Lindor. It's, he turns around and says, whatever it takes, whatever you feel is going to help us win a ball game. This is how Lindor has always kind of lived by the mantra. It's not, I'm a leadoff hitter. That's the only way I can play the game. There's never going to be any of that out of a guy like Lindor. But I think at the same token, these guys know that there's a job to do when they're called upon in any scenario, because you're only the leadoff hitter for the first, pitch of the game. After that, when you come back up again, you're coming up in a different scenario, a different situation than just being the leadoff hitter.
Mets and Yankees going to be fun this weekend. A lot to get into. And obviously, when you think about the 4th of July, you think about the Nathan's hot dog eating contest out there in beautiful Coney Island.
Saw Joey Chestnut yesterday.
Oh, fantastic. How was he?
He was already in his Nathan's gear. I couldn't understand it. I was like, yeah, I was walking, heading into work, and I saw him, and I'm like, what? Why is he in his gear already? It's a day before. Why would you be in full gear? I'm talking about Nathan's number 6 on the back, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, he doesn't have any other clothes? Like, what is he doing?
Well, I'm sure it comes along with I can't imagine what his appearance fee is. I mean, but and what he's getting paid to go out there. But right. You can't have a hot dog eating contest with basically the Babe Ruth of hot dog eaters. I mean, that is what or Barry Bonds or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
That is what Joey Chestnut is. So, it's not something I wouldn't say we talk about training, like how to lose weight, cut calories, you got to work out, how to be a baseball player. Like you work with a lot of young kids and do a great job in terms of helping grow the game and on weekends, we talk about that time and time again. How do you train yourself Like to be as we all watch at some point in time, either the highlights or actually watch it go down. How do you train yourself to be a competitive eater? Like what makes you make the decision one day and be like, you know what? Yeah, I think I can make this work. Like how many hot dogs do you sit down and eat and test it out? Like, and it's not just that, like Chestnut eats like clams, he eats like it's like
Oh yeah,
everything.
he's in everything. He's in everything.
Chicken nuggets, French fries, I can't imagine what his arteries look like. I really can. But how exactly do you sit down and train to be a competitive eater?
It's funny that you should mention the sitting down part. I'm not more curious about the eating aspect of it as the eliminating part of it.
Yeah.
Because that cannot be the fun part. The fun part's the eating. That cannot be the fun part. I can't imagine what goes through your gastrointestinal system as you are recovering from setting another record of 70 some odd hot dogs in less than 10 minutes. I can't imagine, as you said, the training leading up to that. Like when you run a marathon, you do it a few miles at a time and you extend yourself. Like, is he sitting there eating 3 hot dogs, in January?
Stretching the stomach.
Stretching the stomach a little bit, trying to, testing the waters to see which works, dunking the bread first or dunking the whole thing together, maybe just eating the hot. There's a technique to it that Joey Chestnut has down to a science, and no one is even close. Like last year when he wasn't in it, the guy that won would have had the worst score that Joey Chestnut has ever had. So that shows you right there that he's in a class by himself. And this isn't a guy who's a out of shape man.
No.
Like you see him and you wouldn't say that's the guy who's going to be able to eat the most of anything. Honestly, no. you look at him and you wouldn't be like, oh, that all that guy does is eat. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to him for whatever his training regimen is to keep from looking like a guy who is the world's greatest hot dog eater. But it is a fantastic event. It's a lot of fun.
Great.
Doesn't pay. Yeah, it doesn't pay nearly what you think. What was it? $10,000 for the winners? Something minuscule like that. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make a living off this. But
he's got a separate side deal.
No doubt. He's got appearances and marketing,
he's making
his NIL money. His NIL money is where he's getting his big
right.
bucks.
Like he is the LeBron James of competitive eaters. I mean, that's what we're witnessing here. I mean, he's the king. He's not opting into his $52.6 million player option and then complaining about the publicly through his agent Rich Paul complaining about the vision of the Lakers. He's not doing anything like that. But Chestnut's making bank. Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's got to be a tough, as the fireworks are going on in New York City, the Macy's fireworks. I would imagine it's got to be a Friday night later on tonight for Joey Chestnut. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, it's just
it's its own fireworks show. You need the overture. You need the William Tell overture as he's getting back to normalcy.
I overeat now and I'm trying to lose weight, but sometimes, you have too much an extra slice of pizza or whatever. And, I have trouble.
Doesn't sit well.
You're like, what are you doing? Like, it's better not to eat. It's better to just basically drink water and starve yourself. And then you sleep like a baby when you get older. That's it. Don't overeat. It's just not worth it. Yeah. Uncomfortable, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody asked me, you're going to go out to Coney Island and see the Nathan's hot dog eating contest? I go, no, I'll watch it on TV.
I watch the highlights.
Yeah, first off, it's very difficult to get to. Number two is the mob scene of getting out of there would be a disaster. I appreciate the event. I love the introductions. I'll have it on later on.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. And I respect Joey Chestnut and anybody that gets involved in the competitive eating contest.
The only thing I've ever been to live that could even come close was there was Wing Bowl in Philadelphia.
Oh yes, they did away with that, right?
Yes, they did away with it because it was easy why they did away with it. When you showed up at 7 a.m., there was already tailgating going on, and you didn't leave there till about 1 p.m. and the tailgating was still going on and the drinking inside, and it didn't make sense how people were driving home is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But it was a different time and age, right? Where you saw these competitors being brought in literally, WWFE, whatever style, They had ring girls with them. They had pyrotechnics involved, all for trying to eat wings. And it was a spectacle. It was literally crowd versus crowd. You know, each guy had his own little following that would wear T-shirts with his face on it. I had no idea what I was in for. As a rookie in Philadelphia, me and Johnny Estrada, they asked us to come and check out the Wing Bowl, and I'm like, all right, we'll do it. And so we get there.
Was that a paid appearance?
It was a paid appearance, and I actually and here's the funny part, right? A lot of times you go to these appearances and they send you a place, they send you with an intern, they send you, with somebody in the organization, No, the head PR guy is like, we're going to Wing Bowl, and he was decked out in a suit, ready to go, and he was like, the whole time, all he kept saying goes, "So can I count you in for next year?" I was like, "Oh my God, hopefully for the next 10 years."
Well, there you go. Well, that's great. Unfortunately, that's no longer happening. That's like when, and you knew that you remember 44s up in Syracuse?
Yes.
Yeah. Didn't you have
my brother-in-law's? That's my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law owned it.
Yeah, owned it, right. So when I was up at school there, every year when you were of drinking age, you would be able to go into the bar, and they'd have a thing called split day, which was the bar would open up at 8 a.m. and they'd have a battle with a bar from Cornell, which how many splits, which is like half a can of beer of Coors Light that you could go through. And people would be drinking from like 8 a.m. to like 2 o'clock in the morning. But the thing was being there like 8 o'clock in the morning and you're drinking Coors Light, which, not great, not the app, but that was the battle. Like that's to a lesser extent of Wing Bowl and to obviously significantly lesser extent of
competitive drinking. I get it. The college years.
Yeah, college years. Yeah, right. Exactly. Which are the best, to be honest with you. I tell people all the time, there's nothing like college. There's really nothing like enjoying college life.
That would be a single stallion moose running amok.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, I wouldn't say my time. I wouldn't say I was a stallion at Syracuse.
Legends are told.
No, there's not.
You had an opportunity to create a legend right there.
That's it. We'll come back. We'll talk about our favorite things about the 4th of July. Get into a little Knicks basketball. We'll do that next. It's Figgie and the Moose right here. Happy 4th, everybody, right here on Pix 11 Plus. On this July 4th, it's Figgie and the Moose right here on Pix 11 Plus. Happy 4th, everybody. I love this holiday. The beaches, the barbecues, everyone gets in the debate in terms of what must-haves at the family board. Figgie, I mean, burger or dog. I think we talked about this Sports Nation Nightly last week on the old TV. I'd go hot dog over hamburger, but either one of them. Anytime you crack up the grill, like there's smells of summer that you love.
Yes.
Grass. And then when your neighbor or you are barbecuing, no matter what it is, it always just perfumes the air. It's a thing of beauty. And that's why I love this.
No doubt. And I think young and old, the expectation is that's the official kickoff of summer, right? Memorial Day this year for us was, about 37 degrees? People were in parkers, you couldn't even go out on the lake. It was time to take the boat, and put it in the water, time to open up the pool. Nobody was going in on that day, but July 4th, everybody's going to be jumping into the pool, running off the hot sand and getting into the ocean water, and barbecue, man. There's nothing better than firing up the grill and trying out maybe a little different recipe, or if you're really good at something that you do, sticking with that because people are coming around for it. The ribs, the charring going on with the old school charcoal. All those different things are just like you get that sense of when you were growing up, the sense of nostalgia, right? You can smell it again. You know exactly where you were. You remember all the different times that you, at the graduation of a sparkler to a bottle rocket to a Roman candle to then the things that really blow things up. Yeah. That's, as you get older, you're allowed to do a little bit more, but this is the time of year where, the maturation, a boy becomes a man somewhere today and hopefully doesn't lose a finger.
Yeah, be safe. Be safe. It also drives my dog crazy when the fireworks are going off. Speaking of my dog,
On cue.
right on cue.
Wow.
Right on cue. There's Chip right there, standing up on this 4th of July. So be careful with the fireworks. I will say this, and give Corey Chambers, because we were walking, who does one of the anchors for the news on Pix 11, does a fantastic job. Corey, the other night, Figgie and I got done with the 7 o'clock show. We walked up into the newsroom. Now, I'm not a smoker guy. Like,
That's
I'm really
right.
not. Takes a while. I don't think I have that much patience to be able to do it. But Corey was eating like smoked chicken that honestly, like you would have thought came from the greatest barbecue place in New York City. It smelled amazing in the Pix 11 newsroom.
Yeah, again, talking about the maturation of boys to men. When you go from just grilling to smoking before you grill, and then you add that char at the end, like there are levels to this. There are levels to this game,
Yeah.
and Corey apparently has reached a level that we can't because, as you said, the patience to. Oh yeah, all I did was I smoked it for 6 hours and smelled that smell the whole time. No shot. There's no way I'm waiting that long to do it. So. Kudos to him, and it smelled fantastic. He didn't offer us any. You noticed that?
No, he did not. No, he did not offer us. I leaned in. I thought maybe I'd get
He had the little protective glass in front of you.
Like, get out of here. Get out of here. I was like, that smells so good. What does that look like?
Just a little
I get a taste of a morsel.
Please,
grab a
please,
fork.
sir.
Grab a fork, right? I got a peanut butter and jelly for dinner. Can I have a bite? Anyway, by the way, last thing we got to talk about on this 4th, Figgy, is if you're a Knick fan and you're complaining about Mike Brown and you wanted Tom Thibodeau fired, well, then shame on you. I mean, this is what you wanted, right? So, like, we could look at Mike Brown and we'll see, and the pressure's going to be on, and he's a guy that's won as an assistant, being on Popovich's staff in San Antonio, Kerr's staff in Golden State. He's been a head coach 3 times, whether it be Cleveland with LeBron, the Lakers, and obviously the Sacramento Kings. He's been coach of the year before. He's had nearly won 60% of his games when you're looking at him as an NBA head coach. We'll see exactly what that staff looks like moving forward. But, the celebratory mood when Tom Thibodeau was fired and before his extension at $30 million kicked in by Knick fans. If you're one of those Knick fans, and listen, you and I didn't like the firing of Tom Thibodeau, right? So we're not in that. But if you're a Knick fan going out there and now being vocal that this hire is not good enough, that this is not what you wanted, well, you did. You wanted the coach fired. You thought he held you back, and now you get Mike Brown. Will he be successful? We'll find out. But we do know this. Success or failure is going to be graded on one curve, and that is winning an NBA championship, because that's the goal of this organization, and that's what Mike Brown was brought in here to do.
Yeah, such a lofty goal. If you think about the last 7 NBA champions have been different teams, right? It's not as easy as you make it out to be. You can build the best team in the world and think that you have a shot at a dynasty. It doesn't happen. It's not that simple. Every year is unique into itself. Every playoff run is unique into itself. So while you saw some good things, we saw a lot of bad things come up in this playoff run. Things that needed to be addressed, things that needed to be really focused on. And I think that's what the case was. They wanted a new voice. They know they have the players in place that can compete for an NBA title. They wanted to get a little bit more deeper with the bench with guys that you trust, and maybe have a deeper rotation so that you don't feel like it's always just the same 5 guys running out there for 42 plus minutes a night. But at the end of the day, can Mike Brown unlock another level to this offense? Because at times we've seen it, right? We saw we saw a couple of times where all 4 guys scored 20 points, and you're perfectly happy with that. It didn't need to be Jalen Brunson scoring 42 points and then everybody else filling in whenever they could. It didn't need to be Jalen Brunson, having the ball in his hands for 42 of the 48 minutes, as it seems. But at the end of the day, can Mike Brown get the best out of this team? And because the window is very short, as I just finished telling you, that the Celtics are in a down year. That Indiana's not exactly going to be able to jump right back into it, missing key pieces like Turner and Halliburton. So this is an opportunity for you to jump to the top of the division. Cleveland, to see if they can repeat what they did. They came out of nowhere with Donovan Mitchell and friends. Can they repeat the success that they had last year? So you look at the Knicks and you look at, they are a very good team who have the players and the capability of going deep into the playoffs. You know that at least. And that could be done with Rick Brunson as the head coach, not necessarily Mike Brown. So, but can Mike Brown now get them from just a conference, a conference finals participation trophy, or can he get them a championship trophy? That's what we're left to be seen.
That's going to be the goal, and that's going to be the prime focus here moving forward. And like what they did in free agency with little money that they did have, addressing some needs coming off the bench, a big man that can shoot threes, to maybe now you allow Mitchell Robinson to go out there and start. And we know Jordan Clarkson, historically speaking, has been really good offensively, and he's going to be kind of that sixth man coming off the bench to provide some instant offense and some spark for this Knicks team. But listen, yes, Figgie.
I got just a question for you. If there's a way to get Giannis, keep Brunson, and whatever you got to do to get Giannis, would you do it?
Probably, yes. Probably.
Right? I don't see any way that I would say no to that. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you: Would you go out there and trade, say, OG Anunoby in a package to go get LeBron from LA?
That one, intriguing as it may be, OG's defense. I'm not worried about the offense on this team.
That would be a case of you got to completely win now. I mean, the win now. But
it's a win now. It's a win now anyway. But I don't think. I think LeBron at 41 defensively isn't the same as OG Anunoby. You're not exactly putting LeBron on whether it's a 5'4", big man or a guard. You're not putting you're putting OG Anunoby on anybody and everybody. Whereas with LeBron, you have to make sure that it's the right matchup for a 41-year-old LeBron.
Right, I agree. Giannis would be different. And to be honest with you, probably I have a long memory too. Like Durant decided not to sign with the Knicks and went with Brooklyn. Then all of a sudden he went to, and then during the offseason,
Golden State,
right, and all this stuff. And it was like, no, thanks. When we had an opportunity to get you in your prime, you didn't want the Knicks. And now LeBron, 15 years ago, you wanted no part of being a Knick. Now all of a sudden, potentially,
took his talents to South Beach.
Right at the end of your career. I mean, no, he's still great. He's an immortal. There's no doubt. Like, thanks, but no thanks. But Giannis would be a different point.
Yeah, you think about why LeBron would want to do it, right? Because now if he can help the Knicks exercise the demons of not winning since 1972,
right?
Then there's a statue built to him because he becomes the GOAT. He becomes the greatest. All the scoring, all the everything else, and all the championships now, and getting that curse, lifting that curse,
right?
And he would.
I would agree with that, but Figgie, let me ask you this. Like LeBron made it a point that, he doesn't understand ring culture and then opts into his contract with the Lakers and talks about the fact he wants an opportunity to win. Like, which way do you want it? Like ring culture doesn't really matter or defining players, but you want an opportunity to win championships. Like if ring culture doesn't matter, like the Lakers can go out there, win 25 games. You're happy to have the opportunity to compete.
Let's not get crazy.
No, but you know what I mean. You get the point.
Yeah.
You get the point.
Absolutely. No doubt. And I think when you're LeBron James, obviously, you are looking to maximize on the little time that you have left.
Yeah.
You got the chance to play with Bronny. Said you wanted to stay around to do that. You did that. Luka came over and it was supposed to be a spark that helped this team, possibly, a jump start. Not saying that they were going to run away with the championship unless you were, Shannon Sharp with the Lakers in 5. That didn't go as well as he thought. But you look at going back, and first of all, hard to turn down $51 million, opting back in. But you do look at the landscape, and as we said, the East is undoubtedly weaker than the West. So if you're going to have a shot to make it, the Knicks being the second best odds to win a championship behind OKC, unless you're joining OKC, then the Knicks are your next best bet. And so, it's an interesting conversation, but at the same time, I feel it's too little too late, and hopefully the smarter heads will prevail in that decision.
Well, happy 4th, everybody. Figgie, happy 4th.
Same to you, brother.
On a day in, day out basis. Enjoy however you're celebrating. Friends, family, beaches, barbecue. Maybe you're going out to get an Italian meal. It does not matter. Enjoy the 4th of July. Enjoy all the festivities. Happy birthday, America. This has been Figgie and the Moose. Have yourself a wonderful Friday, a great 4th. We'll chat soon.